This is me 17 years ago. This is my spouse, Shaye. And this is us the day we were married in a Mormon temple. Today, Shaye is openly transgender, and I'm actually more in love with her than ever. I fully support my transgender partner, and here's why. In 2019, my sense of reality shattered when Shaye opened up to me about experiencing gender dysphoria all her life. I was shocked because nothing in our life together had pointed towards this or prepared me for this. We have 3 beautiful children together, and at the time were very involved in our religion. I had been taught that gender and sex were the same thing. Gender was totally binary, and men and women had very set roles that were pretty much prescribed by our religion. If anyone veered from so-called traditional marriage, they were either sinful or suffering from a lifelong spiritual trial.
Why do these gays want to destroy our civilization? Let's just hope it doesn't come to that.
People fear what they don't understand. But to add to that, there's some things people don't even want to try to understand.
You take your vows, you say for better or for worse, but nothing prepares you for this conversation. His wife had no idea that this was coming. You are still married. Okay?
I think that the reason we're still married is that she is the same person, it's just a different body.
I can't believe you didn't say, I'm out of here.
I remember seeing this years before Shaye came out to me. And at the time, I definitely thought it was admirable that this woman would stay with her trans partner. But I also remember feeling a little bit repulsed by the idea, like, I don't think I could do that. Now people comment similar thoughts on our content all the time. And you know what? I really get it. It's hard to fully know what you would do in this situation unless you're actually living it. But here's the thing. In our particular situation, Shaye didn't wake up one day and say, I'm trans, and this is how our life is going to be now. When she came out to me 4 years ago, it was as a cry for help to try to resolve these feelings that she was having without transitioning. And then we went through a process of discovery together. And in every step of this journey, we've dedicated tons of time to research, therapy, thinking, and frankly, overthinking. This isn't something we've taken lightly at all. A lot of times people assume that I've been dragged along in this process, when the truth is that I've been encouraging the steps that Shaye's been taking. Because through this research and lots of soul searching, I believe this is what's best for her. If anything, Shaye has deferred to me in this process. I fully support my transgender partner because I've always had a voice in this journey. It's a journey that we're on together. I don't want to sugarcoat the fact that when Shaye started to really uncover her identity, that I had a lot of fear of the unknown and also a lot of uninterrogated hang-ups about gender. And guess what? So did Shaye.
The homemaker walks miles every day, from sink to icebox, from cupboard to stove, and from kitchen to dining table. Even an efficiency expert would be staggered by the amount of chasing around and indoor road work that the little woman takes as a matter of course.
I had an academic background of studying a lot of feminist theory, but that still hadn't prepared me for this deep dive that I had to do.
We give you all we have to give, for all a man can be.
Shaye and I both had to really isolate our notions of gender and question the virtues of these concepts.
Washing with Ivory helps give you big girls that fresh, young little girl look.
You look so thin. Do I?
And look, I know I'll never fully understand what it is to be trans, but garnering as much empathy as possible is really important to me. So my curiosity is always going to be tuned into that.
In several states, LGBTQ+, particularly trans-related issues, have become polarizing and divisive election concerns. But being LGBTQ+ is not new. In fact, on one of the most sought-after beaches in the world stands an ancient tribute to a group of renowned gender-fluid healers known as Mahu. We traveled to Hawaii to see how the country's youngest state is reacquainting itself with some of its oldest traditions.
I've read a lot about the history of gender in diverse contexts around the world. I've learned that gender nonconforming or third gender people have always been with us. As in, from the beginning of written human history, starting with Sumerian cuneiform. I learned how much of what we consider as natural has changed throughout time and has always differed across cultures. I've learned about the trans experience through story, and in these stories, the common thread for me is that trans people are so brave. And though the world often misunderstands them, when you see them up close, they're so easy to love. I fully support my transgender partner because I believe trans is beautiful. But a question we commonly get is, Amanda, are you a lesbian? Lots of people have asked.
You're a sick girl, Amy. You better see a doctor.
I haven't really felt the need to put language to how my sexuality works. For me, I just love my partner. Even though I experienced our marriage in a very heteronormative way for years, now I think of Shaye as a woman and I'm attracted to her as a woman. I think this indicates that my orientation is somewhat fluid. So I definitely feel queer. I also feel that it's important to say that I would never criticize someone for making a different choice than me because I just think that every situation is so different. There's various reasons why relationships work or don't work. But for Shaye and me, we both really wanted to stay together. I support my transgender partner because I'm in love with this genuine part of her that continues to emerge.
I feel pretty and witty and gay.
And listen, I know a lot of women are probably thinking, wouldn't it be really hard to have your partner impeding on your space as a woman? It's true that I used to see Shaye as my opposite. I saw my femininity in contrast to what I perceived as Shaye's masculinity. But then, when I really looked at it and interrogated that idea fully, Shaye being trans took nothing away from my own expression. I feel sad for the gender-critical feminists out there that see trans women as intruders who are appropriating femininity. This idea that they're putting on the costume of female. Well, so are you, honey. If you were born in a padded cell with no outside stimuli, there's no way that you would come to the conclusion that because you have XX chromosomes that you should wear pink and high heels. With gender, we're all in costume to some extent. And hopefully we can all show up in the world in a way that feels good to us. Trans people are not intruders. They're refugees.
Stop confusing our babies with your groomer gender ideologue.
Next time you hear someone talking about trans women as a threat, pay attention to what evidence they provide. They're banking on you not caring to try to understand. I fully support my transgender partner because as she is more freely herself, I can be more freely myself. And this is the bottom line. Being trans doesn't hurt anyone. The journey of living with and loving a trans person is painful. But that pain comes from living in a world that doesn't understand them. It hurts all of us that we have rigid gender roles indicating what men and women can and cannot do. The way I see it, people who undercut gender norms are saving us from our own prison. When people say this fight for human rights is delusional about biology, they're missing the point in my opinion. I've never heard a trans person suggest that sex chromosomes aren't real. 99.5% of us have either XX or XY chromosomes, but 0.5% of us are not part of this binary. I think the crucial point is that though these chromosomal realities exist, what these chromosomes mean about our expression and identity are the product of human culture and tradition. That's what gender is. The reason we've decided to share our family's journey is in hopes that if we can humanize what it is to be trans, then in this process, maybe people can release some of their baggage around gender. I wish everyone could ask themselves, what aspect of my culture's gender roles don't align with how I want to show up in the world? maybe we can help people see a world beyond the gender binary in which there is a lot more color in between. I support my transgender partner because I believe supporting this community will uplift humanity in general. And for the Christians out there, yes, this is what we believe Jesus would do too.
Aww. I think these might be the first flowers Shaye's gotten.